Pisces, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for September of 2015. My name is Athen. So a very transformational month, all about life path changes. We have the lunar eclipse taking place, total lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, and a lot of aspects with the slow-moving planets. So very pivotal, very important. Lots of retrogrades, lots of direct shifts and changes. So I'm going to go ahead and go through it one by one, starting at the beginning of the month. If you have any questions, please comment down below. If you don't already, do check your weeklies where I go into more specific information about this. And if you are new to my channel, be sure to check the description because this is very different from mainstream astrology and your sign might be different. So Pisces, right at the beginning of the month, we have this conjunction between Venus and Mars here in your well, it's technically here in your 6th house, but it's right on the cusp between your 5th and 6th. And your 6th house is about that routine, that health, that diet, the work environment. It's going to be a lot of new beginnings for you here in this area where the solar eclipse is going to be taking place. But what's happening is with this conjunction, it's very passionate, and there's this sort of boost. And it's boost on twofold because, you know, Venus is feminine, Mars is masculine. These planets coming together creates that passion there. But Mars is going into Leo, where he's finally in a friendly sign for a very long, where he hasn't been in a very long time. So I think we're all going to get a sense of motivation and drive. Your energy levels should have been improving over the past couple months and will continue to improve now with this position of Mars. And so motivation, and I think what you guys will be motivated more towards, if you aren't already coming into this month, is the routine, the health, the diet, the work environment, being of service, things of this nature where you're either improving self or helping others improve, which is like your service work and things like that. Maybe developing crafts and skills also at your work. So that being said, that's going to be a strong motivational force that's going to be driving pretty much the whole month for us. And this early part can really be a get-go, a strong energy boosting that. I think you can be motivated to express yourself, to communicate as well, along with maybe understand more about the deeper aspects of life since Venus rules your 3rd and your 8th. And I think you can enjoy life path stuff and maybe even the financial stuff with Venus conjoining up to Mars as well. So that's on the 1st. Also on the 1st, the Sun does oppose up to Neptune, your secondary ruler. So here, with all of this emphasis on your 6th, which again is that day-to-day energy, there's going to be this importance of balancing that with rest, relaxation, spiritual pursuits. This is a very spiritual month anyways, but especially for you Pisceans in terms of when you are getting involved with the day-to-day activity, remembering to take a second, remembering to connect to that now moment, remembering to maybe get rest and relaxation, connect to God, generally speaking in your life, meditation, things like that, which will help facilitate more of this perhaps very busy time that you guys are in here involving day-to-day activities. So that'll help balance you too, and it's going to help you rest, and then it'll support naturally that 6th house. Now on the 5th and 6th, we've got Venus going station direct, so a lot of those things that maybe you were reflecting on about the deeper aspects of life, shared resources, or your communications and thinking patterns, which was Venus retrograde, will start to move forward now. It will start to move direct. So as the month unfolds, you'll feel that energy gaining more and more momentum. And with Venus going into the 6th, I think you guys can certainly enjoy this month. All of these things relating to good health, good work environment, bringing more beauty into your work, meeting people at work or your day-to-day environment, things of that nature. Now, 7th, 8th, and 9th, Mars does trine up to Uranus. So there should be some more opportunities in the work sector. Maybe advancement, maybe a new work, things of that nature, but maybe just a new health regimen, a new health routine. But it's quite exciting. Uranus trining up to Mars there. It's also quite nice for the financial and also the philosophical side of life, since Mars rules those areas. But it's all coming from a lot of this releasing that you guys have been doing. We've got a lunar eclipse in your house in Pisces at the end of this month. So you guys have been transforming. Your life path has been transforming big time, but especially with your identity and with relationships and things like that. So it's all about being yourself, though, isn't it? Uranus in the 1st house has been you guys being yourself, expressing your true self, connecting to relationships and people that are more in alignment with who you really are, things like this. And all of that is very supportive towards whatever it is these 6th house things are for you. So I recommend strongly to continue, and it's reflective too. Uranus is retrograde, so continue to reflect on how to be yourself and to have that free spirit. But through that process, I think the more you do tap into your true self. Maybe it's with your self-image, wearing that flare, whatever, different type of clothing or whatever helps you express yourself is a good way of working with this this trine up to Mars here. So that's around the 8th, and then from the 11th through the 17th, we've got a few aspects. One, Mercury is going to be sextiling up to Venus. So I think you guys can certainly enjoy relationships. And like I said, there's been a lot of transformations with relationships over the past 2 years with the North Node here and all these eclipses. So with Venus, though, I think you guys can enjoy it. So connect all month, really. I mean, it's just been so supportive for you right now. New and existing relationships, business dealings, perhaps. Legal matters, anything that's involved in that. I'm just covering all of the 7th house, but generally relationships for all of you. So new and existing, I highly recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit, and can be some nice opportunities there with that. Now, also during this time period, Jupiter does oppose up to Neptune. We're talking about both of your rulers here opposed up to each other. So usually this means some sort of very strong difference between aspects of ourselves. And so here, like I was saying, there's this strong focus, and there has been for the past few months on this 6th house, these 6th house things. And so balancing that with, again, the rest and relaxation. But there's a part of you that really wants to do that Piscean thing, that 12th house thing, to do that, meditation or imagination, and, almost get lost in the imagination. But it's very important that you balance these two areas, right? Stay grounded with the day-to-day stuff, and likewise lift up the day-to-day stuff that you are focused on so that it is more imaginative, so that there is more flow and more peace, and you have more trust and faith in what you're involved with, and realizing that your work is a spiritual type of work, or whatever you're doing on a day-to-day level is spiritual. That's just the nature of this axis between the 12th and the 6th house. But balance there. Balancing two aspects of the self will probably be important. And realizing, too, that there is a lot of things coming in through this 6th house for you. But what will really help that come in more so is this 12th house Neptunian energy. So that's that middle part, 13th to the 21st. On the 13th, we have that solar eclipse. So new beginnings of 6th house. Again, this can be new work environments, new promotions, new ways of being of service, new self-improvement routines, anything like that. And this is going to be over the next 6 months. Once we have the next set of eclipses next year, will be the culmination of this. So anytime we have a new moon sort of solar eclipse energy, it's a receptive time. It's a time of reflecting, thinking, mulling it over, and then as the month unfolds, start to put more energy into that. And then next year, the beginning, a lot of these things that you are working on, which are very transformative and very important to your life path, around this 6th house stuff, will culminate and will come to a sort of fruition. So it's early with that. I think you guys are very motivated, but take it slow. Remember, it's big picture. And just, during this time, reflect on it and see where it takes you. Because there's a lot of things, with eclipses especially, there's a lot of insights and things that we just don't see until the crescent phase a few days after, at least, once that energy starts to become more illuminated. So that's the 13th. And the 17th, we have a couple things. Mercury going retrograde. So here we go, going into October, retrograde Mercury in your 7th house, perhaps reflecting on relationships, thinking about them, mulling them over, being willing to redo, that kind of stuff. Mercury is always about learning through experience. So like I was saying, do connect. A lot of astrologers talk about Mercury retrograde in terms of avoiding things. Don't avoid anything of that 7th house, but just treat it as a learning process, especially with the North Node here. You want to put energy into that, those one-on-one connections, and you'll find you're learning quite a bit. You're learning quite a bit about your emotional body and those relationships as well, because Mercury does rule your 4th house of that temple at home and body, home and emotional body. So that's retrograde Mercury going into October, and what you learn during this time you'll be able to apply certainly next month. 17th, we've got the sun going into your 7th, so I think you guys will be very focused on those one-on-one connections, and again, perhaps some new beginnings involving that, especially a little bit later once the sun conjoins up to the North Node there. 18th and into October, Saturn sextiles up to the North Node, so very supportive energy from Saturn here. Again, connect, one-on-one connections, very supported. Saturn has been transiting your 8th house, though. So over the past 2 years, for those of you who've been getting very serious, very real with openness, vulnerability, healthy attachments, healthy bonds in your relationships, releasing yourself from debts, structuring your life so that it is more true to what you're really about, all of this. Continue with that. Take that disciplined approach to that more watery side of life. And what you'll find is that it is supporting your relationships. The more willing you are to get deeper, to go deeper with relationships, with yourself, things like that will naturally benefit a lot of these relationship things. And that's just naturally the case usually between this kind of aspect from Saturn, because Saturn is about approaching fears a lot of times too, and in the 8th house that can certainly be the case, but it's very grounded way of working with it without going to extremes, of destruction and things like that of the 8th house, and staying very long-term and grounded with those deeper connections. Now, the 24th through the 27th, Mars is going to be squaring up to Saturn. So that energy there is going to be challenged up with this routine stuff. So what I recommend with this is that I think you're going to be very driven, very motivated, like I said, or just very busy with the 6th house activity. So take it slow the second half of the month. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's how the square energy is. Otherwise, if we try to assert ourselves too strong in this area, it can create frustrations. It can create delays. But if we're open to taking the long road, remember a lot of this energy is 6 months away until culmination point. Of course, there will be big, culminations between now and then. But take it slow, think long term, stay patient. Your perseverance, your patience is going to be tested for all of us, but especially involving that 6th house. And likewise with these deeper aspects of life as well. So that's the later part of the month. 24th, 25th, Pluto goes station direct in that 10th house. So anything that you guys have been reflecting on around career will start to move forward for you now going into October, which will be quite nice, where you can really step into your power. Pluto in the 10th over many years has been showing you the importance of stepping into power when it comes to the career side of things, your legacy, your future, what you're building, the long-term kind of stuff. And then through that, you'll find that you are able to build long-term career foundations, but you have to really step into that power. You have to be willing to make change there. And it's through that openness to change that it'll happen, because otherwise it'll feel like changes are happening outside of our control. But when you are open to the change, then you become the agent of it, and it becomes very harmonious, at least consciously. I mean, it's always for the best, but here we're consciously aligned with it. So that'll be the later part of the month, stepping into a power about career to make change there, whatever's necessary, but that'll be going into October. And that's it as far as the slow-moving planets. Now, of course, we do have that lunar eclipse taking place in your sign, which is going to be the high point of the month. So as the month approaches, you're going to be feeling more of this illumination of self, more of this awareness of self, of where you're going, your life path, things of this nature. And it's a very spiritual time, this lunar eclipse. So as you normally do, Pisces, go within, reflect. Although it's going to be very energetic, I think a lot of you will have a lot of drive and a lot of ambition to pursue your goals and things. And by all means, that's a great way of working with this energy. But of course, as a Pisces, stay connected to your intuition. Get that, alone time, that reflective time that is important to you. And through that, you'll find that you are able to accomplish quite a bit. But this is a large energy, and it's very transformative. And there's also a lot of old energies of yourself that are being released during this time as well. So be open to that. But if you want to get a little bit more indication of what this is, look back to May of this year when we had the solar eclipse, the new beginnings here in your first house. And so a lot of those things that came to you around that time are culminating to where you have a greater sense of awareness and spiritual freedom and spiritual liberation. That will be the high point at the end of this month. So that's pretty much it. Then we have a conjunction between the Sun and Mercury going on here in your 7th house. So more new beginnings in relating to relationships, especially in terms of what you've learned about them or continue to redo as we go into October with those one-on-one connections. So Pisces, have a fantastic month. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. Get in touch if you'd like a personal reading. You can click the link down below. Do check your weeklies, like I was saying, for more detailed information. And I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching.